Good day, everyone. Hi, good morning, good afternoon. My name is Rod. I am the community choreographer of Pollinate Impact based in Manila. It's nice to see so many people today. Welcome to our Pollinate Pathway session, an introduction to our peer mentoring program, which will be launching very soon. So we're very excited to kind of give you more of a context of what it is, an overview of the program, as well as some story sharing, success stories of those who have taken similar program under the Human Edge so that they can also give us their experience and take us through what they've learned in the process. So as usual, we will be doing just a quick introduction for those who might be interacting with Pollinate Impact for the first time, as well as just some of our current events that are coming in the next few weeks and months. So, Madhura, if you can help us please get the screen up. Awesome. Thank you. All right. So if you're not yet a member of Pollinate Impact, consider this your official sign. We're a buzzing member-led network of impact incubators across the Global South, sharing tools, funding leads, and real talk with each other and with other ecosystem players. As a member, you get access to funding opportunities delivered straight to your inbox, proposal support through our office hours with Partner Assist Asia, coaching through our growth guidance programs, a shared library of tools and resources you can actually use, exclusive members only events from relaxed happy hours to real talk funder dialogues, practical roundtable discussions, and others. And most importantly, connections to peers who just get it. And if you're already part of the community, we've got something for you too. You can refer a fellow impact enabler and get 10% off your next annual membership fee. Just share the link or scan the QR code on the screen so we can help keep this garden growing one referral at a time. So hopefully we'll see more applications for members soon, and we'll see you at our member events. So now I will just take you through a quick look of what's coming up in our calendar. Whether you're already a member, just getting to know us, there's something here for you. So the next few that I'll be talking about are the ones with the stars, which are our members only ones designed as safe, intentional spaces for deeper connection, real talk, and practical support. So on June 11th, we have Seeds of Success, which is where we'll be with our friends from Assist Asia, where we're moving from partnership planning to real fundraising action. So we hope to get very practical with some mini lab activities during this actual event. And then as well as a virtual happy hour on July 18th. No sessions, no pressure, just great conversations and a drink of your choice because it's 5 p.m. somewhere in the world. So all of these are exclusive to members, but if you're not a part of the community yet, don't worry, you can still express your interest to join, and we'd love to welcome you in. So again, just check the link in the chat to learn more. Aside from our members only events, we also host these open to all gatherings because collaboration doesn't stop at our network's edge. So on June 13, for anybody who is in Nairobi, we have our Investor Incubator Happy Hour. We had insights from our discussions before with investors, and we're turning it into action. It's a way for us to connect informally, build trust, and start bridging those gaps together. Next is Roots to Results on July 17, where we talk more about investor relationships to learn more from peers across the Global South on what's worked and what hasn't in terms of their process in building their relationships with investors. And of course, our 2025 regional Pollinate potlucks are coming up. After our big potluck in Bangalore last year, we're going regional, centering each region's unique contexts and challenges. Our first one will be on July 1st to 3rd in Sub-Saharan Africa in Nairobi. So hopefully all of our African incubators here, tickets are already live. So you can go to our website, check out events, Regional Potlucks 2025, and then you'll see more details about the regional potluck plus the link to our ticket tailor page. Apart from that, August 12th to 14th, Southeast Asia Potluck in Bangkok, and then in November, our South Asia Potluck in India. All the sign up links to these events are either in your inbox if you're part of our mailing list or the WhatsApp group if you're a member. And if you're not in either one yet, you can email me and then we can get you into our newsletter and or the WhatsApp group as well. So thank you so much for that. And thank you, Madura, for sharing. Now we'll move on to our check-in just to get to know who is in the room with us today. So as always, we'll do our mentee. So Madura will bring up the slides in a bit. Thank you so much. So you can join us at menti.com and use the code above. So the code, it's on the chat box as well. If you can't access Menti right now, we'd still love to have you let us know where you're from in the chat box. So join us on Menti, or you can also chat up which country you're joining us from. Kenya, awesome, welcome. Indonesia, great. I see the chat. India, also here. Welcome. South Africa, Australia. Great. Ghana. Welcome, everyone. Fiji. Philippines. Awesome. TZ, Tanzania. Hi. Hello. Awesome. Okay, great. Singapore. Hi, Justin. Nice to see you here. Kenya. Awesome. All right. So we have a really good mix of people here today. Great to see everyone. Thank you so much for your interest in joining the program. Let's move to our next slide. So what best describes your organization? Can we know if you are on the chat also? Which of these buckets do you identify as? Do you lean towards incubator accelerator? Are you a community hub? We'd love to know. So we have majority of incubators here. We do have, well, we have a government representative with us, a consultant, others. Benin also on the chat. Welcome, welcome. Great, awesome. So mostly incubators and accelerators and some other groups here with us as well. Thank you so much for joining. Next slide, please. All right. What's one thing you've learned from a peer in the past month? You're new to it, need for continued handholding for entrepreneurs, breaking down assumptions, new to this. So something, it doesn't have to be something super big. It could just be like something that you've learned from a peer, one conversation that you've had recently that has given you some things to kind of think or reflect about. Hi, Srini from ICRI SAT. Wellness support, awesome, thank you. Great. And the last slide, recognizing power within, awesome. Last one, what's one spark or challenge you're currently holding that's leading you to consider the Catalyst Circle? So basically, what is something that has led you to maybe attend the session today? What has sparked your interest to maybe be part of the program? What's something that you'd like to learn? We'd love to know. New opportunities for collaboration, how to create the most impactful journeys for the entrepreneurs we support. Awesome. It's great to hear. Anything else? Maybe one last minute for anybody else who wants to share how we can create a regional level incubation ecosystem in tier 4 and 5 urban areas. Learning, stakeholder collaboration. Is it going to be related to policy or not? Telling our stories in an impactful way. Co-creating support with ventures tailored. New to the industry, awesome. Collaboration, great. Thank you so much for all your ideas. It's so nice to see such a mixed group of people here. We're so happy to have you, and we hope that we're able to clarify some things at the end of this session. So just to take you through how we're doing it today, we will have a quick overview and an introduction to the program through Tess and Ariel, who will be sharing next. And then we'll have success stories or stories from those who have attended a similar program from the Human Edge through Sidra and Kenny. And then we'll open up the room for some questions later on, just in case there are things that you want to clarify or ask about. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Tess, who is leading the front to this peer mentoring program, to give us a little bit of context of how we've arrived to launching this peer mentoring program for the Pollinate Impact Network. So let's all give her a round of applause. Tess, please go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rod. Hi, everyone. My name is Tess. I'm based out of Nairobi. And as Rod mentioned, I'll be managing this particular program. And thank you all for making the time to be here today. So one of the questions we're asking ourselves is, what gaps is this peer mentoring program trying to fill? For starters, it's limited capacity building for middle managers. So capacity building efforts often focus on top management and entry-level staff, leaving managers under-supported. This gap in development contributes to challenges in succession planning and leadership, as many managers don't receive the necessary training to move into higher leadership roles or to retain relevance within their organizations. The second thing is lack of access to peer relationships and cross collaboration opportunities. Please feel free to correct me if whatever I'm saying is not true. Um, Many networks tend to prioritize senior management for learning and collaboration, leaving middle managers without opportunities to connect, learn, or grow with peers in similar roles. Another gap that we are trying to fill is weak succession planning within incubators. So there's often lack of structured succession planning, with few middle managers advancing into C-suite roles. So without proper development and opportunities to grow, middle managers risk becoming stagnant, which can result in leadership gaps and reduced organizational effectiveness. Last, but definitely not least, is the hierarchical learning environments. So top management typically connects with top management, and middle management rarely has the opportunity to engage with senior leaders as peers. And so why is this a gap? Because this could actually create a power dynamic that hinders the flow of knowledge and collaboration. So this program, this peer mentoring program, is providing a peer mentoring phase where everyone, regardless of position, is both a teacher and a student, allowing for more equitable and productive learning experiences. So this is why we thought about the program in partnership with the Human Edge, who are also on the call. So hi Alicia, hi Nadine. As a way to begin to close these gaps. So thank you so much all for listening. Please put any questions you might have in the chat and we shall address them at the end. But for now, I'm gonna pass it on to Ariel, who's also an alumnus of the Human Edge, but more than that, she's also our chief convener, who will also kind of take us through the program overview. So welcome, Ariel.
Awesome. Thank you, Tess. Thanks, Rod. Really happy to be here. And huge thanks to the Human Edge, Alicia, Nadine. So I think just to pick up from where Tess dropped off, I think another reason why we really wanted to do this program is I have been speaking with incubator staff across Africa, South Asia, and India, Southeast Asia, and when we really have talked to them about the struggles and the things that they're struggling with, 95% of the challenges have really been consistent, no matter whether you're in Mumbai or Mombasa or Manila. So really, we see a lot of these same challenges, and we really felt that for the for the opportunity for you guys to connect with each other across borders, and as Tess beautifully said, be both teachers and students in this whole equation. So I'll just give a quick overview of kind of what to expect of the program. And I think we saw most of the folks here are our incubation staff, and firsthand that the value that when you connect mentors to the entrepreneurs you work with, how transformational that can be to your entrepreneurs. But most incubation staff don't have the opportunity to have that sort of reciprocated. So that's where we're really trying to change the dynamic with this program. So and that is the heart and soul of the Catalyst Circle Peer Mentoring Program. Really peer-to-peer learning, peer-to-peer sharing, South-South sharing, and sharing across borders. So we split the program into basically two halves for you. The first half, and I'll get into a little bit more detail, is really to equip you on your mentoring journey. And the second part is really where the peer-to-peer learning and sharing happens directly. So before we get into the first phase, we will have you, we'll ask for you to sign a participant agreement just to make sure we're all aligned on expectations. So if you join the program, you'll be sure to sign up for that. But then the first phase is really building your skills as a mentor. And I have done this program with the Human Edge. I was lucky enough to be part. And when I was invited to be one of the mentors on the program, one of the things that I was reserved about it is I was like, well, what if I don't have all the answers? Like, what if I don't know how to help someone solve their problems? And one of the biggest learnings I had going through this program is that you actually don't have to have all the answers to be a good mentor. It's helping the other person find their own answers and really asking the right questions for them to come to the answers themselves of how to address it. So this sort of preparation phase is fully online and 6 basically learning modules that you can complete at your own pace. We do have some milestones, but it's really self-paced online learning. And this runs from, I think, June towards the end of August or early September. Yeah, I think Tess has the dates up. Great. And this is where you're really going to build your mentoring skills and competencies. You'll learn skills and you'll have frameworks that you can apply to help you with to help you develop active listening skills, how to ask powerful questions, how not to ask leading questions. That was a problem that I had. I tend to ask leading questions. On how to build trust-based relationships, understanding the role of the mentor, what's expected, and how to give constructive feedback, just to name a few. So there's so many skills that you'll actually build through going through that program. And then you actually get to put them into practice. So while the coursework is online, we have 2 live practice sessions that are mandatory. And I'm sure maybe Tessa, the team, can put those in the chat, but I also think they're on the website if you looked at that. And this is where you actually get a chance to put those tools and frameworks in a safe space to work. So you'll get put into groups of 3, and everyone will have the opportunity to be a mentor and to be a mentee, and the third person will actually be observing. And your peers will give you direct feedback and say, you did this really well. I think maybe you could improve in this area, where you're actually trying out in a very practical form the skills and the frameworks and the tools that you sort of pedagogically got online, and now you get to put them into practice and see what that really means for you, and how easy or challenging some of those things are for you. So that's basically phase 1. So there's also a final assignment at the end. I'll leave Alicia to talk through that, but that sounds like very intense. It's not. It's just sort of more practice and more feedback for your peers. So it's nothing to be too intimidated about. But if you have any questions about phase 1, please feel free to drop them in the chat, and we can come back to those questions. But I hope that gives you a little bit of a sense as to what to expect in the online learning program. Then internally, as Pollinate Impact and the Human Edge, we're actually going to pair you up and actually do the peer matching. So we'll do that very intentionally, and we'll connect you with your peer to go on for phase two. And phase two is the actual peer mentoring delivery. So that will be from September to February. So that's about 6 months. And that's where your peer mentoring relationship will really unfold. So you both are going to set goals that you want to work on, and support each other as you work towards those goals. So this is really an opportunity for you both to grow together, to challenge each other, to think a bit more deeply, and learn from the lived experiences of someone else who really gets it, as Tess said, like who's in the day-to-day business of impact incubation and supporting entrepreneurs. So everyone who completes that 9-month journey with us will graduate in February 2026. So we'll have a bit of a party, and Tess and Rod throw really good parties. So you can be prepared for that. And really, at the end of the day, with all of this, we really want to strengthen cross-boundary relationships and leadership skills, so that you can collaborate across sectors, across geography, across cultures, across generations. And we really are very much looking forward to seeing how these relationships unfold and how much you're able to learn and share with your fellow peers in impact incubation. So, and don't worry, we will give you guidance on how to make the most of your relationship. But really, the peer mentoring piece is up to you. You'll decide with your peer mentor the cadence, the timings for your meetings. We'll give you some guidance, but it'll be up to the both of you to really figure out what works well and what works best for you. But we will go ahead and connect you up directly with them. So we'll do the matching and connect you guys to take it forward from there. I think I'll stop there. I hope, Tess, I didn't miss anything, but feel free to plug any gaps that I might have missed. But otherwise, I'll hand it back to you guys.
All right. No, I think maybe just one last thing is just around the cost. So thank you so much. I think that has been really useful. So as many of you might not know, this program is actually valued at about $330. But because we've had very generous partners, we've been able to bring this cost down. And so if you're a member of Pollinate Impact, that's $50 per person and $40 for every subsequent colleague. I get asked often, what do you mean by every subsequent colleague? It means if I'm from Pollinate, I'm the first person, so I'll pay $50. Rod will pay $40. If Ariel wants to join, she'll also pay $40. So that's kind of how the math goes. For non-members, it's $100 per person and then $75 for every subsequent colleague. Just in case you might have missed this program is open to managers, part-time mentors, founders, CEOs, if their time allows for it. So yeah, I think that is a good culmination of the program. If you have any questions, as mentioned, please put them in the chat. Rod, I will hand it over back to you.
Thanks, Tess, and thank you, Ariel, for sharing more about the program. This is really awesome. I'm really excited, and I'm actually really excited to hopefully be also part of the program, but to give us more about their experience on a similar program that Human Edge has done. We have two wonderful people here who will share their experiences. They can introduce themselves a little bit and what they do now, and also what they've learned and what they've gone through with the program. So I'm so happy to welcome Sidra and Kenny here with us. So Sidra and Kenny, if you can give us a little bit about yourself at the start, as well as maybe, because we always have a fun question. So my fun question for today for us would be, what's one thing that you've kept with you that you've learned from a peer? So something that still sticks with you that you've learned from a work peer or even a friend that you still have with you on the day-to-day. So we'll welcome Sidra first to give us a little bit about her experience. So Sidra, welcome and thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me. A little bit about me. I have studied strategy and entrepreneurship at university. It was a bit of an odd choice at first. Everyone was like, what, just start a business and you learn. But it was really exciting. I learned a lot about governance while I did that, and I just gained a passion for entrepreneurship after that. I worked in investment banking for a long time, but then when I moved to Mombasa, I worked in the impact space a lot. So I worked with MSMEs and I studied to become a professional NLP qualified business coach. Prior to that, I also have become a HBDI facilitator, which is the whole brain thinking method. And that's just an emphasis on how we think as individuals, because a lot of the things you said about being managers at different levels, we all have different thinking styles, and we go to a different part of our brain in those thinking methodologies. And so I facilitate that for a lot of corporates and organizations. Your question, the thing I learned from a peer, a lot of the time when I had conversations, I used to have a habit of writing down notes, and it made the opposite person uncomfortable. I didn't realize this, but a peer of mine highlighted it once, and he's like, "Oh, you write a lot." And I said, "Well, I find it exciting to make a mind map because that's how I like thinking." And he said that often it makes people feel like I'm not paying attention. It was something so small and something so simple that I overlooked. But yeah, him highlighting it made me pay attention to that, and it changed the way I interacted with people. So I joined Human Edge's MSP program last year through a mentorship program that was advertised by a foundation in Mombasa. And so I became a mentor for their program. And what motivated me to join was just after 12 years of doing what I've done, you kind of become an expert, right? In that field. And it's kind of given that, oh yeah, you know every answer. But somehow the MSP program really brought me down to the basics, like active listening, things like asking the right questions and really just toning it down. As a coach, I've always practiced not giving somebody the answer, but asking them questions to lead them to the correct answer. But MSP just really enforced that and kind of got me in touch with other peers that were around the world, really practicing mentorship in different areas. A powerful shift for me when practicing, like going through the MSP program, was that silence is also, support. You don't always have to have an answer or the right answer. You can just sometimes be silent and listen to somebody that you're mentoring and just absorb. They just don't always need a solution from you. Sometimes they just need a ear to listen to. And I feel like as mentors or coaches, we kind of feel the pressure sometimes, like, are we supposed to solve this problem for this person? But it's really not like that all the time. Sometimes somebody just wants a listening ear. So that was something that I took away from that. And the live practice sessions where you get paired with other people, it's so exciting to just see your communication level with people who are from different walks of life in different areas in the world. And I remember gaining so much from that because I really had to just change my language every time, or even change the way I structured a question, or the way I answered something, or the way I took somebody's mentorship on and got asked questions and answered. It just changes the way you are and how you interact, and it teaches you a lot about yourself and your communication style. So generally, I really, really benefited from the program, just about in the bigger ecosystem. But yeah, it's a great program overall.
Thank you. Thanks, Sidra, for sharing your experience. Glad that you really enjoyed it. And yeah, that's something that I used to do too, the notebook thing, and then had to learn to be more, present also. So I'm glad that that was something that you also got to learn, and happy that the program was very helpful for you. Yeah, so thank you again. I will now welcome Kenny to introduce himself and then also share his experience. Kenny, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. And forgive me if there's some background noise. I think the birds are singing. Otherwise, yes, Kenny Karaoke here. One of the folks who co-founded Impact Hub Nairobi, basically in the Programs and Operations Department. And my background is really in law and agricultural political economy. All my training is so kind of grounded in governance, policy, and looking at things from an institutional perspective. And that's reinforced by my PhD that really looked at institutions and informal and formal institutions, especially in the context of Kenya. And when I come to this space as an ESO and ESO provider, we look at our entrepreneurs in a space of how can we support them best, taking them from A to B. As an impact hub, we are also connected to a global, shall I say, proposition in terms of our franchise. So we work with entrepreneurs across the world, and Pollinate is a happy partner, and we really love working with them. And also the Human Edge are excellent, and all the work that they do in terms of mentorship, and we work with them sometimes. I would say when it came down to this, the reason why I was, really motivated to join the MSP one was the focus on not only just sometimes you can have a concept, and we have lots of entrepreneurs, and they come to us and they're like, I want to focus on my compliance, I want to focus on fundraising, and these are the things you always hear time and again, and these are the hard skills, and you could basically say the things that are expected from a business to grow. However, with mentorship, you do not touch on that softer element. We talk about networking. I think networking is something that I'm sure if you're in business, you always hear you need to attend this, you need to be here, etc. However, sometimes having someone in your corner and also understanding it being a mentor or mentee, how to actually structure that relationship, have the right framework. So I've been doing this since I'd say even when I was in uni and I was doing mentorship. And I think everyone has their own conceptual framework of what is the best way to propose or the best way to grow and build. And so everything, I think some of the key things that stood out were like, and also with the Human Edge, I did the Running Effective Mentorship Program. As you know, they have lots of programs, but this was about how to actually think of various frameworks and in an effective way. So things like, I'm not going to go into all the frameworks, but I think there was something like Oscar, and I was like, what is Oscar? And there's other things like, and I know my co-chair, or she mentioned that no, she's been doing this for a long time, but I'm not as well versed. However, when we came to our hub, we wanted to make sure when we create our own mentorship program that if we look at talking about grow, like something like goal reality options and way forward, would this be the best proposition for the Kenyan context, Nairobi context, and would this be the best way for us to train our mentors and also eventually onboard mentees? And so what I'd say is this course really was, it helped shape the way we consider mentorship and how we build it into our training, coaching, and when we have our incubators and accelerators, how we bake in mentorship to make sure that one, you have, what is that relationship structured, and everything else that was mentioned in terms of they're asking the right questions, listening, etc. So I would say that it was a solid grounding for us to have a framework that is now something that we're using towards hopefully building better relationships and developing those softer skills. And yeah, having basically both the mentor and the mentee have a better experience. So yeah, I'd say if you can, sign up.
Awesome. Thank you, Kenny. Thank you, Kenny and Sidra, again for sharing your experiences with us. Hopefully that was very convincing because I'm excited to get this program started as well. But now we are very much happy to answer any questions from the crowd. If you have any questions about the program itself, we're happily joined by the Human Edge also, who might give us a little bit of clarification there. And of course, Tess and Ariel are here, plus of course, Kenny and Sidra, in case you want to ask more about their experience as well. So opening the floor, you can either raise your hand or put it on the chat box. Yes, Miguel, please go ahead.
Morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm zooming from Eswatini. Yeah, I'm also a student in Eswatini College of Technology here. So I'm part of a Nexus group. That's like a business situation in schools, but for tertiary schools. So I'm happy to participate in such a very, positive intake kind of situation program. But then I have a small issue. That's where the question comes in. On behalf of the students, I can see the prices too. I can see the prices. I really wish to participate in the program. I believe it can create a very profound impact in me and even in the lives of the people around me. But then ish, how can we make a plan? Because the prices, how can you maybe make a plan for the students, just for the students? Because when you are a student, you don't work, you just rely on the allowance, stipends kind of situations. But if you really want to participate, capacity building, and actors, yeah, I hope you see what I mean. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you, Angela, for your question. Tess, Ariel, do you like to?
Yeah. Hi, Lungelo. Thank you so much for your question, and thank you so much for just showing interest in this particular program, and most especially as a student. Yeah, I mean, I think I do understand the constraints that come with being a student. I would say that this particular peer mentoring program primarily targets those who are working within incubators. Incubators are, entrepreneur support organizations. And so for this particular program, we will not be having students, but as soon as we do have one, then I will be sure to let you know, and then also let you know what kind of rates would be able to give you. So I hope that answers your question, Lungelo.
Thanks, Mangelo. We also have other questions on the chat. Pradnya asked, what's the time commitment look like for the program? Tess also answered on the chat, so I'll just read it just so that everybody is on the same page. So expect to spend 2 to 3 hours per month, including self-paced learning, live sessions, and peer calls. Jessica also asked if there's an online platform or a learning management system that we will be onboarded on to work through the content, and will we be connected through WhatsApp for engagement and program? Ariel answered yes and yes to both questions. So yes, there is going to be a platform where you'll be onboarded, as well as a group where you'll be able to kind of be connected with everyone in the program. Awesome. Anybody else with questions from the group? Yes. Archana, please go ahead.
Hi, I'm calling in from India, and I work in the Eastern Himalayas over here with indigenous communities. And I've just started a social venture over here, which is a not-for-profit. Now, when you start a social venture, there are so many different components of it that you need to really put in place, right? And you're struggling with also that many more components kind of a thing. And everything seems like a priority. So when you are basically putting peer-to-peer, how are you looking at somebody who's basically creating something which is going to provide an ecosystem support to communities versus somebody who's working probably on a product or something like that? And the second part of that is that while I'm in this peer-to-peer mentoring, is it possible for maybe one or two more team members to join sometimes those conversations, or is it strictly one person to one person kind of a thing? Thank you.
I can take that one, Ron. Archana, thank you so much. I think just to sort of clarify, and I think this will help with I think it'll provide some context also for Lungelo. So the intention of the program is really for incubation staff, right? So those who are actively supporting entrepreneurs, or those who are actively mentoring entrepreneurs right now, rather than entrepreneurs who are developing a product or service. And the reason why we do what we do at Pollinate, in fact, is because impact incubators and the staff don't really get as much support as we would like them to in the industry, right? And this sort of peer sharing, knowledge exchange between members of incubation staff, and I'm using the word incubation very loosely. Kenny said ESO, right? If some people call themselves accelerators, some people call themselves venture studios, right? So if you are working directly with entrepreneurs and advising them on their businesses, then you sort of fall in that bucket. But really, the program is targeted for those folks, not necessarily startups themselves, because we really want to build the connections and the knowledge to really build a more healthy incubation industry, and hopefully, you know, have you, as Kenny said, take some of these things home and actually apply them to the work that you're doing with your entrepreneurs on a day-to-day, and maybe even improve your own mentorship programs at the end of it. And then Archana, you had a second question. I'm sorry. That was and apologies. I'm in a bit of a noisy place. What remind me, what was the second?
No, it was just that whenever we are having these peer-to-peer engagements, is it possible for another team member to engage in one, if some conversations might be something that the team members would also benefit from? Can they join, or is it strictly peer-to-peer?
So you can have more than one person from your team sign up for the program, but they would need to go through the whole program. So it's not, because you're really building, you're building up your knowledge as you go through the program and as you go through the coursework. So it won't make sense, for instance, if you do maybe the first one and then somebody else comes in to do the second one, because you're really building up and as a group, as a cohort, you all are sort of growing together in your skills, in your expertise, and with how you're applying your learnings. So I would say, yes, you can have more than one person join, and that's why we actually have the discounted pricing for additional team members. But they should sign up for the full program and not kind of hop in, hop out. Unless Alicia, you want to add anything to that, or Ted.
Awesome. Thank you. I see some more questions on the chat. Jessica had questions on criteria in which you pair us in our peer mentor groups. Would this be based on individual experience, regional matching, etc.? And then I assume colleagues from the same organization wouldn't be put into the same groups in the second phase of the program. So anyone from the group?
Yeah, I can answer the first part, and then I welcome Ariel, Alicia, Nadine, if you'd like to jump in. Yeah, thanks so much for the question, Jessica. So yes, there will be a criteria. What will be the criteria? I think for starters is geography, role, gender, the organization in which you belong to, just to name a few. Based on individual experience, no, that's not something we'll be considering ahead of the program. And then we will not, yes, I assume colleagues from the same organization won't be put into the same groups. Yes, so we'll be matching across different organizations. So I hope I've been able to answer your question. Jessica, do let me know.
You have. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Jessica, if it helps also, so we won't be leading as Human Edge on the matching, but we will be supporting the Pollinate Impact team to coordinate it and lead on this. I mean, the bottom line and our approach methodology is really rooted in looking at mentoring relationship, not necessarily as transactional, but relational, yes? And you need to ensure that the pair is connected. So whilst we will be looking and advising Pollinate to look at all the nuance around hard data, we also will be supporting them with the element of effectively art of facilitation and looking at people's learning styles, attributes, values alignment, etc., so that they have the best chance of developing connection, because that's the connection and trust, because this is what it really underlines. If the connection is missing, it is not going to work. So that's what would be the magic around the connection and matching.
So much, Tess. Thank you, Alicia. That's very helpful.
Thanks, Jessica. I'll just read Emanuela's question on the chat, just so everybody is also in the same page. Do consultancy firms supporting social entrepreneurs qualify to be part of the program? Ariel answered with, as long as you're supporting entrepreneurs directly and guiding them on their business, then yes, I think you could qualify. So there's another question from Gladys here. What about mentors working with social entrepreneurs and working with various community groups undertaking various initiatives, including food security, climate change adaptations, etc.? I guess the same answer as Ariel. As long as you're supporting these entrepreneurs directly, Gladys, then you are qualified. Yes, awesome. Okay, last call for questions, maybe one or two, if anybody still has any burning questions for the program.
Can I just quickly, Ariel
Hello.
kindly mentioned the assignment at the end of the program, and both Kenny and Sindra can vouch for it. It's effectively as you go through the programs, you have 6 modules where at the interval of module 3 and module 5, you will have a practice session, which Ariel also spoke about, where you apply the learning in triads. So you're taking roles of mentor, mentee, and observer, and you rotate throughout the conversation. So effectively, the assignment will be a replication of the practice session in your own time with the peers who will be participate on the program, and a very short, no longer than 1-pager write-up, where you use the framework of WEC, what work, even better if, keep on doing, and you submit it through the page. So it's very straightforward, but it's effectively a facilitated practice, again, of which you learn throughout the program, whilst getting a direct feedback from your peers. So that's what it is. Thank you.
Thanks, Alicia. Thank you so much. All right. If you are all as excited as I am for this program, we'll learn more about the next steps through Tess. Tess, if you can share a little bit about how, if they're interested and they're qualified after everyone's clarifications today, how do they sign up for the program or learn more about this if they're still in the deciding phase?
Yeah, so I've actually just put in a couple of links on the group, on the chat, so you can read more on the program there. You can also read on the impact that the Human Edge has had on such a program on an individual level. Okay, so something I think we didn't mention at the beginning is the program is going to have an effect on different levels. So there's an individual level, there's organizational level, and then there's the ecosystem and industry level. And so that's kind of highlighted in the link that I've attached. As well, if you'd like to register, I've also put the link down below. So I think just to summarize, it's to say that for us at the end of it all, as Ariel mentioned, we do want to strengthen cross-boundary leadership skills, because we want to be able to enable all of you participants to work across sectors, different geographies, across different cultures, and across different generations, because that is a reality. And then something else is also to develop mentoring and coaching skills to support effective leadership. One of the things that the Human Edge truly believes in is a correlation between mentoring, coaching, and leadership. Yeah, and then finally, to just enable professionals to develop, grow, and progress. And also to encourage senior professionals to create a space for and nurture the next generation of leaders. So, so sorry, Jessica, I see the link that I shared out was a bit broken. I hope you've been able to access. All right. Yeah, so that's it for me, Rod. Unless Ariel has any closing words, I think we could end here.
Awesome.
No, I'm good. Thank you guys so much. Really excited to see so much interest on this call, and we hope to see all of you join the peer mentoring program, and hopefully your colleagues as well. So we look forward to everyone bringing a friend, and we're really excited to get this off the ground. So thank you all so much, and a huge thanks again to Kenny and Sidra for sharing your stories. It really, really helps make it a bit practical. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for joining. And we hope to see you at the Catalyst Circle, our peer mentoring program. And hopefully to see you in our next sessions, as well as any in-person good meetings that we'll have in your region soon. So thank you and have a great day.